Is Chris, what's it like to play on a stacked team? A team that has a huge number of players that can start in a lot of teams in the league, but may have to come off the bench.
It just relieves a lot of the pressure. As starters, you want to try to get a lead or play well, and you hope the bench comes in and just holds off the next team or comes in with a nice pace. But when you're playing with a great team, you can actually hope that bench comes in and do better than you. You can actually hope that bench comes in and kind of raises the pace on that other team. But most importantly, what those benches do, and I know for me in Sacramento, they really keep the integrity of the team in practice every day because they're out there beating the A team. So when they put on those special jerseys that everyone hates or has to flip their jersey inside out and go up against the starters, they're playing with that confidence that they play with every game. And so you have to be prepared in practice. And so it makes every day you get better, not just on the game day. So for me, being on those teams with great benches helps you more in practice every day, which sets a culture of winning more so than just in the games.
That's an excellent insight. Let's check out Toronto's starting lineup. Ibaka is the 4 and Valanciunas in the middle. Lowry and DeRozan are the 1 and the 2. They create so much offense. And it's Anunoby in at the 3 spot. Back to Griffin. From downtown. Rebounded by Valanciunas. On defense, Detroit. Last time they came together was in Toronto, where they fell to the Raptors.
Yeah, and last time out, they sort of shot themselves in the foot with the foul trouble. That was what led to them having such an ugly scoreline.
Well, particularly the starters, losing their focus, playing undisciplined basketball, and the bench couldn't come in and compensate for all of that.
The Raptors have gone 0 of 3 from the field to start the game. Lowry with the ball. Steady offensive output from him, averaging more than 16 points a game.
Not getting anything to fall here early. 4 straight misses to start the game.
Smith dishes to Griffin. Over Ibaka. Another miss by Griffin.
Now, he got the room he needed by fading away. Just could not drop it from there.
And DeRozan kicks to Lowry. Screen by Valanciunas. Ibaka with a screen on Smith. In the corner, Ibaka with it. 6 on the shot clock. Lowry for 3. And again, no good by Toronto.
Yeah, slow start right now. 5 straight misses to get this one going.
Here's Ennis. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. And the Raptors, unique in the NBA, they have a whole nation behind them.
And basketball continues to gain in popularity, especially with the younger generation in Canada. The Raptors are coming to relevance at the perfect time, and the rabid fan base energized by how competitive this group's been the last couple seasons.
Free throw drops for Ennis. And Ennis drops them both.
He's not making any mistakes up there today. Another solid trip to the line for him.
Raptors trail by 6. They've been looking out of sync offensively.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
Kicks it to Ibaka. Ibaka sets the pick for Lowry. They need this one. And it's Lowry again missing.
Definitely a situation you want to make sure you don't give him too good of a look.
And Griffin stays with it.
Yeah, just a fantastic job to stay with the play and just not give up. Excellent effort on the offensive backboard.
And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Lowry.
Looking here at some numbers for Smith, how the second half of the season has shaped up for him, averaging 9 points per game, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And the numbers won't wow you, but I like the effort he brings to the table each and every night.
He hustles, does the little things, just a good complimentary guy who you need on your team.
Griffin passes to Ennis. Drummond a screen to the wing right side. And it's Bullock missing. Raptors trail by 8. Now the feed to Lowry. Valanciunas with a screen on Smith. Off the screen, and it's Valanciunas finishing it off.
Ooh, that has to be a relief. First bucket was a long time coming.
Well, you can see they were getting frustrated. Let's see if that jump starts to run.
Here's Griffin. Again, Griffin missing.
Not a very consistent quarter for him in terms of his shooting.
Lowry dishes to Valanciunas. Screened by Valanciunas. Here's DeRozan.
Oh, nice. Oh, he is a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
That could be a contender for the dunk of the year, I think. That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Under Armour. Another unleash chaos moment. Here's Drummond. Out to Smith. A shot by Griffin. Nobody around. And again, it's the Pistons missing. Raptors trail by 4. Passes it to Lowry. Dishes it to DeRozan. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. DeRozan's got his second basket.
Yeah, and this team depends on Lowry. I mean, so skilled at creating shots for himself or his teammates.
There's the screen. It's stolen by DeRozan. And here we go with DeRozan running it up the middle. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly. And really, DeMar DeRozan is a master at what he calls body hunting, that ability to just kind of draw fouls. I think he and James Harden actually are the guys that have really kind of set the tone for how to create those opportunities to get to the line.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
And the first one drops. And DeMar DeRozan, always, Greg, among the league leaders in free throw attempts.
And when you look at him, 6'7", 220 pounds with tremendous athleticism, he has got all the tools. Beyond, though, that attack mentality, he's a savvy basketball player. Those little shot fakes, his footwork helped this guy live at the line.
And Chris, if you're a Pistons fan, you have to be happy with the direction this team is headed. They have a good, youthful core, a brand new arena. Things are looking up.
Oh, yeah. 3 championships in the history. 2 of those were back-to-back, and another final. But if you look back at the Pistons' history, just like most organizations, it's full of valleys and peaks. And they just went through a valley for the past 7 years or so. And we'll see how things are lining up for them. It looks promising, but they have to come through and execute.
Detroit shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night.
And in terms of team numbers, the free throw percentage is right at 74.
Free throw drops for Ennis. And every veteran goes through a period, Chris, where they are benched for rest, especially this late in the season. Did you ever go through that? And is it something that's easy to accept?
Looking back, I would not have mind being benched for rest. It wasn't that popular when I played. You had to even go hard in practices.
Right.
I think now teams understand how to handle that, and I think the schedule change may make it so that a lot of players won't have to have rest during the season. But you want to be in a position where you're not fighting for a playoff spot, because if you're fighting for a playoff spot or position, then rest is the last thing on your mind, because we always used to say, hey, you can rest all you want after you lose in the playoffs. So you have to balance your rest with expectation.
And Stan Van Gundy, known for being one of the more demanding coaches when it comes to defense. He doesn't care who you are. If you're not giving it your all on the defensive end, you're going to find yourself on the bench.
Well, he's clear with what he wants and what he expects, and, you know, when you step on the floor.
Shooting 2.
The first one falls.
And you so often hear about how much Detroit Pistons fans pride themselves on the defense of this team. It's a part of the franchise's identity. All the fans in Detroit definitely love their defense.
Both free throws good from DeRozan. And only a handful of teams have a franchise identity like that with the Pistons in defense. Maybe the Lakers playing up-tempo or Memphis grinding it out.
Well, yeah, not many teams or franchises have an identity, and that's what makes it so special to play in Detroit for that reason. There's nothing like hearing the crowd get hyped for a defensive stop.
A huge slam, the perfect end of the fast break.
Well, I like that he shows no hesitation there.
Yeah, while he's taking off, no one on the other side reacts. They give up the easy points.
Lowry against Smith. Outside Lowry. There's the dish to DeRozan. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And the Raptors miss again.
The D a little slow to get in his face. They're fortunate it didn't cost him.
Bullock kicks to Smith. He feeds it to Ennis. Here's Griffin. He's coming off a 25-point game against the Cavaliers in Cleveland.
Well, he also made a mark with his passing and had the assist total to show for it. Look, I still can't believe how athletically gifted this kid Drummond is at the center position. It's not just his size. It's his speed, it's his quickness, and jumping ability.
For Detroit, they have looked good at the line tonight. They're perfect in 4 attempts. The first free throw is good. Now with Drummond, you usually don't see someone who has as much muscle mass as he does and able to run the court and blow by defenders. But Chris, he does it on a nightly game-to-game basis.
It's crazy. He tries and kind of plods down the court, but when he gets the ball, he has a burst off the dribble. And you're just like, are you kidding me? His consistency needs to come, but don't sleep on his quickness in the lane.
And both free throws good for Drummond. Well, Drummond is a player who is always bound to put on a show on any given night. C-Webb, he can do it with his gaudy numbers and rebounding totals, or he can finish with a slam. He's very aggressive in attacking the rim inside. But no matter which way, he is a crowd favorite, to say the least.
Fewer and fewer big men are taking pride, or pride themselves in working down low for points. And Drummond does it. He's a throwback, to the 90s, to the 80s. And one reason why it's easy to cheer for him is because he actually likes to play inside.
And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It goes in. Lucas Nogueira.
Okay, I see Drummond's offensive game starting to evolve a little bit. He's learning how to trick the D with the nice pump fake.
And in today's game, we're really so used to thinking of passing as the key to an efficient offense. But this Raptors club, they do it a different way. For them, the screen is the assist, giving their guards space to pull up or attack the rim.
Free throw good, Drummond. And the Raptors for the last few seasons, Greg, right at the bottom of the league in assists.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they do make good decisions. They're a low turnover team, and they've been pretty efficient offensively. One area where you can offset that is by their ability to get to the free throw line, because that puts a lot of pressure on your defense with their ability to attack.
He doesn't get the second one. And Chris, when you played, you were known as a guy at your size who could rip and run, take it coast to coast. You look around the league now, who are some of the best big men ball handlers?
Oh, you love it. If you get that board, you got to be able to take it, speed up the offense. We've seen Draymond just have a field day doing it with all the players on his team that could knock it down and score. Blake Griffin, Anthony Davis. We've even seen Paul Millsap and Julius Randle do it a little bit. So I love the fact that if you can get that board and push it, it makes it easier because you don't have to look for the outlet. You can actually find that point guard, that two guard in transition, and let them score, and you be the facilitator.
Now Powell. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. That ties the game.
And just enough wiggle room to get off his shot.
Well, when you're at a size disadvantage, sometimes the mid-range is better than inside. You get a little more space. You don't allow the shot blocker to get up on you, and also you can use your handles and your quickness.
Feeds to Tolliver. The Pistons working the ball around now. Here's Nelson, and out of bounds as Toronto gains possession. Making free throws a big key for any team. Let's see the best in the NBA. In fourth, the Raptors.
You know, it's really a team-wide talent. You want to foul to stop layups, but against them, you're not saving much. They'll make you pay time and again.
Now here's Powell. He's averaging around 5.5 points a game. Siakam passes to Nogueira. There's a screen. Nelson with the steal. And here we go. The Pistons fast break. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And let's take a look at the numbers for Siakam. How last month turned out for him. He's around 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And guys, he's making winning plays. It's as simple as that. Not a star player per se, but he makes his presence felt.
Well, yeah, lately he's been overachieving a little bit. Hopefully this is a sign of greater things to come.
Free throw drops for Nelson.
And trailing here in the early going, too many careless fouls, and they're giving up a lot of trips to the line.
And the Pistons making a change here. Moreland's checked in. Both free throws good for Nelson. And Chris, growing up a fan of the Pistons, did you have any particular moment that sticks out to you about this franchise?
Oh, so many moments. Isaiah Thomas winning MVP in the All-Star game. So many moments. Joe Dumars playing great defense on Michael Jordan, sweeping the 1989 finals. That was our first time. And in high school, I remember we had these little pocket TVs that one of my friends had. We actually got to watch the game as the Pistons played against Portland. So, of course, I have many memories. You want some more? I keep going on and on and on and on.
And here comes the break. Here's Miles. And the shot no good, a bit short. Here's Johnson, and the whistle blows, so a chance here for a 3-point play.
Well, what about the concentration of Johnson? Just burying the bucket despite the harm.
Well, many had high hopes for what Stanley Johnson could be in the NBA, but after a rough sophomore season, questions have been raised, C-Webb. The former 9th overall pick, the player of the year in high school in Los Angeles, a terrific freshman year at Arizona. He saw a major regression in many areas of his game.
Well, look, the NBA is a different level, and when you come in as younger as Stanley came in, you're going to have to figure your way out. He's with a great organization, great coaches around. He should improve with hard work.
Toronto trailer. And Wright kicks to Miles. He dishes it to Nogueira. They set the pick. The kick out to Wright. Pass to Miles. Shot clock at 6. Nogueira gets a screen for Miles. The tray. And the Raptors hit again from deep.
Yeah, the D with very little pressure on their perimeter shooters. 3 of the last 5 baskets they've allowed have been from beyond.
Pass to Galloway. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Galloway has got his first basket of the night.
Oh, simple screen, but there was a defensive mix-up that left the man wide open.
Siakam passes to Nogueira. Rebound, Detroit.
Oh, great effort there. That's how you defend the paint.
Yeah, he has that capacity. He knows exactly where to position himself to protect the rim.
There's Galloway. He averages a bit over 6 points a game. Off target on the 15-footer.
Just doing the job on the backboard.
And Wright kicks to Miles. Now the pass to Powell. The feed to Wright. Nogueira dishes to Wright. Powell for three, and the Raptors hit again from deep. We've seen the lead change hands quite a bit in this one.
And guys, I think each team knows they can win this game, just a matter who can catch that momentum.
Here's Johnson. Doesn't get it to drop for him. So the Raptors will take it the other way. They are coming off that win against Atlanta.
And this is why scouting is so important. You've got to be able to identify those role players who can complement what your team does.
Yeah, that was big-time production from the bench, especially on the offensive end.
Fast break, here they come. Here's Nelson. Softly drops in the floater. Nelson's got the game tied up here for the Pistons.
Oh, perfect timing there to knock down the teardrop.
Here's Powell. Doesn't go for him. Tie game in Detroit. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports. And a chance to hear from DeMar DeRozan talking about his team's impressive play of late.
We all just playing together. You know, that's the biggest thing. Moving the ball, playing together on the defensive end. You know, just having trust in one another. You know, that's the bottom line. You know, once we play comfortable, go out there and have fun, we all clicking.
And DeMar is definitely a guy, Greg, that knows how to infuse that chemistry and teamwork on the floor. It looks like he's a big reason why they're clicking.
Kevin, no doubt. And attitude, such a huge factor in being successful as an individual, but really also as a team. I think we've seen him really embrace that attitude as he's matured as a player.
Neither team able to build much of a lead up to this point as we start the second quarter. And what stands out to you from the Pistons so far in this one?
Getting high percentage looks, wearing down that defense on the inside.
Right, and as the defense collapses, that opens up inside-out opportunities. Productive first quarter.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. So for Toronto right now, they've got C.J. Miles. Norman Powell is out there with Hurdle, and it's Siakam in at the 4. There's a good screen. Powell kicks to Hurdle. Just over 1 minute has passed here in the second quarter. That's a miss. He's made one and missed one. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. And you look at the Raptors, one of the top teams in the East, Greg, but do they have a chance to go all the way?
I think they're a threat to make the finals. Can they win it all? They may be a piece or two away, but still a young and aggressive core. They continue to try to add pieces, and this is a group that has proven they want to win and win now.
And he makes the first. Chris, you've been on both sides of the coin for this. When it comes to a veteran presence in the locker room, just how important is that? You know, when you were a young player getting it, and maybe as an older player when you were preaching it.
When I was a rookie, Kevin, I needed a veteran just as much as I needed an assistant coach. They were that important to me because when you think about it, that's how you learn your routine.
Wow.
What to eat before a game, how many hours to eat before a game, how to recoup after a game, how to say no to your friends and family for playoff tickets because, you know, you're at home and you got to buy 75 tickets. You know, just kind of how to navigate through life. That veteran player can help. And I think that's one thing when the game kind of got lost in years past, it was because we lost that veteran presence in the locker room. And so, to me, the veteran presence is everything. You know, Chris Mullin getting on me because I'm a rookie. I mean, I would have paid him to do that. So, you know, it's really cool because just as much as they get on you, they help you and they explain the game, help you out with life and everything else. So it's like a big brother relationship.
Oh, that's good to hear. He got right to the cup using that screen.
Absolutely fearless. I mean, a nice subtle adjustment there going up against Wentz.
Well, this is just another case where being aggressive wins out.
Toronto working the ball around now. Miles with it, and it's Johnson picking him up. Here's Siakam. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game, and they're moving it up. Here's Kennard. Oh, that's blocked. Van Vliet passes to Miles. Johnson with the block.
And the exceptional athleticism of Johnson. Love how he gets up for these rejections.
The Raptors shooting their 5th attempt at the line in the game. So for the Pistons, Griffin comes in for Anthony Tolliver. And it's Reggie Bullock in for Stanley Johnson. Anunoby, he's checked in for the Raptors. DeRozan comes in for Norman Powell.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
And Chris, as you grew up a Piston fan being born in Detroit, which Piston were you the biggest fan of when you were growing up?
Oh, wow. By far, Isaiah, no question. Isaiah was the heart and soul of that team, a guy that was smile, but had the heart of an assassin that wanted to play and use everything that he had to get a win out of every game. The best small guard, in my opinion, the game has seen. His handles, his leadership. He was just a Chicago kid trying to make it. And then, of course, Joe Dumars and the fact that, he was just so solid, such a great guy for the community, such a heck of a two-guard out there, a defender, a guy that could spread the floor. And, of course, Bill Laimbeer, his physical play, Bob Lanier, my man Rick Mahorn, Adrian Dantley, Mark Aguirre. I could keep going. Chuck Nevitt even was a Piston for a while.
All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, guys, Raptors coach Dwayne Casey talked about the chemistry on his team. He said, "We couldn't be better. There's no ego, no hidden agendas. Guys understand their roles." Kyle Lowry told me, "We're a complete team, 15 deep, and we really mean that. You never know whose time it's going to be." Kevin?
DA depth is a crucial part of any team's success. Knowing you can rely on your teammates to step up is huge. Van Vliet kicks to Siakam. Passes to Hurdle. Dishes it to DeRozan. Hurdle sets the pick for DeRozan. Here's Anunoby. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Here's Bikes. Pass to Kennard. Banked in off the glass. Kennard's got his second bucket tonight. A lot of give and take between these sides early.
Yeah, and both teams look like they came to play. We should have a good one.
There's the pick. Pass to Siakam. Here's Anunoby. They get it back.
And he's just a tough defender. Good positioning to get after that shot.
Well, not all defenses are constructed to protect the mid-range area. Nicely done that time.
Here's Griffin. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Griffin's got 6.
It was all about his athleticism when Griffin first came into the league, but it didn't take long to see he was about a lot more than that. He's got serious skills down low.
And DeRozan kicks to Van Vliet. And the Raptors miss again.
You can't fault him for taking the 3 when he's that wide open. You can't pass that shot up.
Bikes, no good. Raptors trail by 3. Here's Anunoby. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Griffin dishes to Bikes. Picked by Griffin. They set the pick. Bullock kicks to Moreland. To the paint. Hurdle with the steal. Here's Van Vliet. A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game. Hurdle, the pass to DeRozan. Looking to end the run. And finished off by DeRozan.
And when Hurdle sees one of his guys wide open, he whips it his way. He's all for doing what's best for the team.
And Chris, you had to deal with different injuries during your playing career. Some guys get bit by the injury bug and some others avoid it their whole career. Do you think that staying healthy, Chris, is a skill or is it just luck of the draw?
Man, that's a great question, Kevin. I really can't answer that when you look at a guy like Jordan and seeing him only hurt his ankle one time. Or, you know, I do think when you take care of your body and you prepare that you can definitely stave off injuries. But at the same time, I think it's the luck of the draw. If you were a guy like myself and you're rebounding in the paint and there are a lot of feet under you, you're going to come down on someone's ankle and twist your ankle. We've seen a lot of non-physical injuries, a lot of injuries that just seem to happen out of nowhere. When you look at George's injury with the Olympics that time, or you look at a guy like Steph Curry with his ankle injuries that he had back in the day. So I really can't answer that. That's a great question. It's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? But I would just say this, no matter how hard you work, it takes a little bit of luck to be successful. I think we always say that. So I would lean on more so the side of luck than necessarily being prepared and not having an injury.
Good answer.
Oh, he just punches that one down with a fury.
And he rubs it in a little deeper with the hanging finish. DeRozan dishes to Ibaka. Back to DeRozan. He kicks it to Lowry. He feeds it to Ibaka. Rebounded by the Pistons.
That's just a quick move to the 10 and an even quicker reaction by the D to stop him there.
Bullock kicks to Smith. Griffin a screen on Lowry. Smith the pass to Griffin. 6 to shoot. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact.
And no longer a guy you're okay to foul. Griffin's made steady improvement at the free throw line.
This is his first free throw of the game.
And on the season, he's just a shade under 80 from the line. I'll bet he'd like to get that up over that mark.
That's good from Blake Griffin.
And they have yet to miss a shot from the line here this quarter.
Langston Galloway's checked in for Reggie Bullock. And Toronto also making a switch. Right, he's checked in for Anunoby. Both shots good from the stripe. And here's Lowry. Ibaka with a screen on Griffin. With some arc, and the rejection by Smith.
I'd love to see them impose themselves a little more on the backboard. That's a great way to find confidence. Always a surefire way to get back in the game. Yeah, a little too physical on that play. Tries to climb over the top of him and gets whistled for it.
You got to be a little more in control than that. The officials are never going to let you get away with that one.
And Ibaka kicks to Valanciunas. There's the pick. Up top, DeRozan. He had 25 points in the win against Atlanta.
Well, and his overall aggressiveness leads him to camping out in the lane. It's a no matter what you do type scenario.
Smith kicks to Ennis. Drummond with a screen on DeRozan. Here's Ennis. Nice D from Valanciunas.
Thought he was going to be able to take advantage of the D there. He had the space.
Here's DeRozan. The shot off that time. Great D that time from Griffin. Ennis dishes to Smith. Kicks to Griffin. Goes up to the stripe. And the shot is long.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
Screened by Valanciunas. Ibaka sets the pick for DeRozan. Back to Lowry for the three. Good. And it's DeRozan picking up the assists. Lowry's got 6.
And that's Lowry's shot right there. Always looking to capitalize from that range.
Smith inside. Lowry covering. Detroit, no good that time either.
Almost every look he gets inside is a good one, but the D hangs in there and makes it a tough one on him.
Out to the right wing. To the middle. Here's Ibaka. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
And Serge Ibaka, remember, it was a first-team all-defense selection. But over time, I think he's become more of a scoring-minded player, and I think that's affected his impact defensively.
Now, gentlemen, two shots. Two shots.
The free throw drops from Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka, the league leader in block shots for 2 years in a row in 2012 and 13, but he sends them back at about half the rate he once did.
Yeah, but even still, a pretty good shot blocker. You add in his finishing and outside shooting, and he's a player to be reckoned with.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pistons. Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Griffin. Stanley Johnson comes in for Ennis, and Nelson is subbed in for Ish Smith.
And what's interesting about Ibaka, he's played basketball internationally ever since joining the NBA back in '08. In fact, he won a silver medal with Spain in 2012.
And that one's good. Drummond. Toronto's gone 2 of 3 when they've stepped beyond the arc in the second quarter. Lowry kicks to Ibaka. There we go. Now in the scoring column with that make, he is 1 for 4.
And offensively, Ibaka's been spending more time out on the perimeter, but watching him work inside there, you realize that may still be his bread and butter.
Johnson the screen. Tolliver the pass to Galloway. Just 5 on the clock. Nelson dishes to Drummond and out of bounds as Toronto gains possession. And we'll examine here how the distribution has been between three-pointers and two-pointers tonight for the Raptors.
Liking the effectiveness they've shown here from three-point land. And I say, hey, shoot it more. They've been successful with a high field goal percentage, and we'll see if that continues to be a part of their arsenal.
1:33 left to play here in the half. Lowry with the ball. He has 6. The dish now to Ibaka. Chance there to take the lead. Missing. The Pistons have gone 7 of 15 from the field here in the second quarter. Just under 50% shooting. Nelson against Lowry. Johnson left side. Feeds to Tolliver. Drummond a screen. Near the three-point line, it's Nelson. And there's another one for the Pistons.
Solid pick to create that opening. A soft touch on the jumper.
Toronto's gone 6 of 10 from three-point range, up over 50% for the ball game. Picked him clean. And here we go. The Pistons fast break. Nelson's running. Toronto trailing.
If they play it right, we're talking a 2-for-1.
Exactly, but you still want a decent look, because if you miss, the strategy doesn't help you.
A shot by Lowry. Wide open. And again, Toronto no up. And, well, Detroit shooting 47% in the second quarter. Nelson against Lowry. Nelson kicks to Tolliver. He dishes it to Galloway. Clock at 4. There's the triple. And we're through the first half of basketball here in what's been a good one. Pistons lead by 2. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks very much. Jameer, what's the biggest thing you're going to have to do in the second half?
We have to continue to get stops and offensively take care of the ball. Myself in particular, careless turnovers shouldn't happen, and it's part of the game. But I just have to value the ball a little more.
It always starts with the point guard. Thanks, Jameer. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David. Thank you. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the third quarter.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime
Hello
Show.
again, everybody. Along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, I'm Ernie Johnson. Time for the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. It was a closely contested first quarter for Detroit. Nothing seemed to give way on either side of the scoring column as they wrapped up the period all knotted up. They battled hard in the second quarter, and it was reflected on the scoreboard. Kenny, what's your take on Detroit so far?
Well, I thought their turning point was when the bench came in. Those guys really hustled, and they gave the team some energy, and then they started to score baskets. That was a bonus.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on Toronto?
Well, their poor rebounding is really hurting them. It hasn't killed them on the scoreboard yet, but they need to pick it up. This is a game they can win, and if they come out hustling in the second half, they can win.
And that will conclude our halftime presentation. We take you back to Kevin Harlan for the second half.
Welcome back, everyone. The lights of Motown reflecting brightly off the Detroit River. Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. A fantastic game from DeMar DeRozan so far.
Yeah, he's really been catching the defense off guard so far here in this game, racking up a bunch of trips to the line.
Well, and a few times he's done a good job of initiating contact, yet getting the foul call on the defender.
And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now. Smith is out there with Reggie Bullock. Then it's Ennis. Then there's Andre Drummond. And it's Griffin in at the 4 spot. That's the group starting the second half for Stan Van Gundy. Left side, DeRozan. Rebound by the Pistons. They'll be playing host to Chicago for their next game. And that game is the second of 2 straight at home. Bullock kicks to Smith. Griffin a screen on Lowry. Here's Smith. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Smith's got the first bucket of the third here for the Pistons. The pass to Anunoby. And there's the feed to DeRozan. Add another make to his scoring column. His 5th basket of the game. Now shooting 5 of 11.
And you want to talk about high-volume scores. Just look at what DeRozan's doing tonight. He's been on a mission, putting his mark on this game in a big way. And defensively, this is the opposite of how you want to start the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you spend all that time in the locker room trying to get mentally prepared. Then you come out and give up that? No.
Ibaka, the pass to Valanciunas. Screen by Ibaka. From the arc. Yep, it goes. And the Piston lead is cut to just 1 on the basket from DeMar DeRozan.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
There's the pick. Smith kicks to Bullock. Down low. It's stolen by Valanciunas. And the shot is good. Ennis has got 6.
Yeah, 3 consecutive field goals have come right at the rim. The D had better start buckling down.
Lowry dishes to Ibaka. Pass to Valanciunas. And he got the whistle, so he'll have a 3-point play opportunity.
They're doing work here in the second half. 3 or 4 to start.
And Valanciunas out of Lithuania, the 5th overall pick back in 2011.
Yeah, he's still quite young. You know, a lot of talent offensively. Defensively, he's probably had less of an impact, but that's where he has to take the next step.
That one drops. He ties it up. The Pistons have gone 3 of 3 from the field since halftime. Smith kicks to Bullock. Pistons passing it around. Back to Griffin. Drummond a screen. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
All right, a chance here to check out Kyle Lowry. This past month, he's really set himself apart. He's averaging 14 points a game, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. Solid numbers, the kind of production we expect. And frankly, I think he's got another level to take it to.
Yeah, think about this. He definitely has the skill set to put up even bigger numbers. It wouldn't be a surprise to see that in the coming days.
First free throw is good. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. A steal. Here's Bullock. DeRozan defending. The basket counts and 1. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it a 3-point play. Nogueira, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas.
One shot.
Free throw good. Bullock. Just over 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Lowry kicks to DeRozan. Raptors get it back and a new 24. Whistle on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line. So it'll be Lucas Nogueira shooting. Andre Drummond picks one up. The Raptors have been exceptional shooting free throws tonight, going 9 for 9.
And they've done some really nice work at the foul line, knocking down 80%.
Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. Smith, the pass to Drummond. Dishes it to Ennis. Here's Griffin. They grab their own miss. And that one's good. Drummond.
Wow, Drummond is one of the top rebounders in the game. You have to put a body on him, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, just to prevent him from coming away with a second chance opportunity.
And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, it may not be the era of the center in the NBA, but Jonas Valanciunas has something to say about that. He said, I try to make sure they don't forget about centers. I'll keep reminding them. The league is full of guys that can do different things, but I still think you need a center that can rebound the ball and score in the low post. I agree. Kevin?
Well, the centers are still important, David. Good to see Valanciunas making his presence felt in the paint. Raptors trail by 6. Now DeRozan. 18 points for him. Ibaka outside. Out to the right wing. Ibaka with a screen on Griffin. Lowry against Griffin. Shot clock at 3. And he throws it down hard with one hand.
Oh, just solid on the one-handed slam.
And guys, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball. Bullock dishes to Drummond. In the corner, it's Griffin. Smith outside. Shoots. And Griffin scores. The assist by Smith. And that's 15 points for Blake Griffin.
Well, this is what Smith does best, keeping his eyes moving to set up the open man.
Left side, Ibaka. Whistle on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, outstanding job there of taking the harm and still able to finish.
He's gone 2 for 2 at the line so far.
And he's putting together a solid year at the free throw line, 79% overall.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pistons. Moreland's checked in, and it's Kennard in for Ennis. Free throw good, Ibaka. Here's Bikes. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 8 points a game. Picked by Griffin. Pass to Moreland. Here's Bullock. DeRozan defending. And there's the defensive 3-second call.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
We're still waiting for that first miss from the line this half.
Siakam is checked in for Toronto. Pikes in the corner. Here's Moreland. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. And it's Norman Powell with the foul. That'll be his second foul of the game. Here's Kennard. He has 6. Here's Griffin. Nogueira gets a hand on it. Powell for 3. Good. And it's DeRozan picking up the assists. Powell's got 8. The Pistons leading. Pass to Kennard. Griffin kicks to Bikes. Picked by Griffin. Ripped away. Here's Van Vliet. Powell with the screen. Van Vliet passes to Siakam. They set the pick for the lead. Lands soft on the front of the rim and drops. Powell's got 5 points in the quarter. Guys, what a back and forth game this has been.
And that's already resulted in 7 lead changes.
Here's Moreland. He feeds it to Griffin. Fires for 3. Bangs home the trifecta. He's got 18.
And a nice spark for their offense here in the second half. Now above 50% for the game.
Basket is good, and he'll get a chance for one more at the free throw line.
His touch has been terrific this quarter. Most of what he puts up is going down.
Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Detroit. Johnson comes in for Reggie Bullock. The Pistons trailing. To the right side. Kicks it to Bikes. Here's Kennard. Guarded by Powell. Clock at 6. Here's Bikes. New 24-second clock for Detroit. He gets it in there. And the Pistons lead by 1.
The game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding has been the one differentiator thus far.
Raptors moving the ball around. Nogueira dishes to Powell. Tries from 10. Goes back up. And there's the bucket as Nogueira finishes it off. Nogueira's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
And there's the pass to Kennard. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle and 2 shots coming up. It goes in. Lucas Nogueira.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good. Langston Galloway's checked in for the Pistons. Nelson comes in for Dwight Bikes. C.J. Miles, he's checked in for Toronto. And so he hits both. Toronto's gone 2 of 2 from long range in the third quarter so far. And out of bounds, the Pistons will take it. And a chance now to review the shot chart for the Pistons.
Well, just look at the cluster in the middle of the paint. That right there tells you all you need to know about how they have built the lead they have. They are playing with more intensity on the offensive side of the ball, and it's the difference in the game right now. You have to love how they've approached this matchup.
And so it's Detroit with the ball. It's a 1-point game. Johnson the screen. Tolliver for 3. Unable to get that one. And it's the Raptors taking it the other way. 11 feet away. And it's Miles missing. Detroit's gone 1 of 4 in 3-point shots here in the third. Galloway, the basket good off the assist from Nelson. Galloway has got his second bucket of the night.
That's too much space to give him out there on the perimeter. They got to close out on him. Well, Langston Galloway, the undrafted guard out of St. Joseph's. Now, look, he flew under the radar on draft day, but has proven that he could be a rotation player in the NBA. Just a natural scorer at the point guard.
Shot clock at 6. The Raptors need to get a shot off. Van Vliet can't get it to go.
They played him absolutely perfect there. Didn't allow him to get the open shot that he was looking for.
Nelson outside. He kicks it to Johnson. And it's Van Vliet with the rebound. And with Galloway, he can run an offense, but his main draw is his shooting and his ability, Chris, to create scoring chances. Very hard to contain at times.
And you like having that scoring punch he brings off the bench. Decent shooter from deep who can stretch a defense. Not really an efficient scorer, but he looks to act as a catalyst.
The Pistons making a change here. Drummond's checked in. And Toronto has possession, trailing by 4.
And while we got a chance, let's look at some numbers for Andre Drummond. First in rebounding, 10th in blocks, and he's as opportunistic as anybody defensively, ranking among the top 15 league-wide in steals per game.
And just going back real quick to the fact that he's tops in the league in rebounds, what a tremendous feat. What a monster he is in the paint. The free throw drops for Powell. And so he's able to get 1 of 2. And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
They should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain them. And Hurdle is a massive guy, someone that uses his height exceptionally well to get high-quality looks at the bucket.
Right against Nelson. There's the pick. Johnson kicks to Nelson. But they'll get another chance. A three-pointer off the mark. And out of bounds. The Pistons will take it. And here we have a rundown of the players you don't want on you when you're putting up a shot. The leaders in blocks over the last month. Third is Jakob Hurdle.
And guys, as the month has unfolded, his interior defense has gotten better and better.
Detroit's gone a less than productive 2 of 6 from three-point land in the second half. Here's Galloway, guarded by Powell. To the left wing. The dish to Johnson. Drummond a screen. It's hauled in by the Raptors. Hurdle's got 7 rebounds in the game. Right outside. Here's the screen. To the wing right side. Wright sets a screen. Powell for 3. Rebound, Detroit. Tolliver's got his 3rd rebound on the night. Feeds it to Johnson. Drummond with a screen on Miles. Johnson goes in, shoots over Miles, and it's Johnson again missing. Miles the pass to Siakam. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, the defender all over him.
And these are his 2nd and 3rd free throws tonight. And that drops, so they now lead by 1. That one is no good.
An uneven trip to the line, but they do come away up by 1.
Inside, Hurdle with the steal. Now here's Powell. Tight defense on him. The putback.
At the defensive end, they've lost some of their focus since halftime.
And so it's Detroit with the ball. Drummond a screen. Here's Galloway. Feeds it to Drummond. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2.
With his free throw shooting, the defense is always better off fouling Drummond when he gets inside.
He's made 3 of his 4 free throw attempts in the game.
And of course, we'd all like to see his percentage at the line improve, but he just does not have the touch right now. He's in the 60s.
Two shots.
He's off on the first.
And in a short period of time, the former UConn Husky Drummond has blossomed into an elite center, just taking the league by storm.
Jonas Valanciunas, he's checked in for the Raptors. And he's good on the second. 1:03 left in the 3rd quarter. Powell kicks to Miles. Valanciunas sets a screen for Miles. Back to Powell. He tries for 3. Down through the hoop it goes. That's his 5th make on 9 shots from the floor.
Oh, and that's his 2nd three-pointer this half. I mean, he's really cooking now.
There's the pick. Drummond a screen. Off the screen. Second shot opportunity. He dishes it to Galloway. And the rejection by Valanciunas. 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. Powell kicks to Hurdle. The feed to Valanciunas. Passes it to Wright. 6 to shoot. Valanciunas with a screen on Johnson. The shot by Powell, no good. Here's Galloway. Puts it up. No good there. And so it's DeMar DeRozan making highlights for the Toronto Raptors. It's been an excellent game for him offensively. He's got 21 points and counting. And we'll be back with you shortly. Let's listen in now to head coach Stan Van Gundy from a few moments ago.
Hey, get our defense and rebounding. Let's get the ball down the floor.
Wanting to get out and run a little bit. Stan Van Gundy telling his guys how they need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you don't get stops or you don't take care of the backboard, it's almost impossible to get out in transition.
Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. Setting the floor for the Raptors. Anunoby the 3 with Ibaka playing the 4. Lowry out there with Wright, and it's Valanciunas in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. He used that pick to get in close. Johnson's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for Detroit. To the right side. Lowry dishes to Valanciunas. Lowry against Smith. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. Andre Drummond picks one up.
And I like how scrappy and aggressive Lowry is on the court. And it's easy to see how much his teammates enjoy playing alongside him.
No good on that one. And Kyle Lowry over the last few seasons slimmed down about 15 pounds. He's, Greg, been playing the best basketball of his career.
No doubt. He's still got that low center of gravity, almost like a bowling ball. He just gets under his man, and his strength and tenacity enable him to create chaos at both ends of the floor.
He hits the second from the line.
And that one miss shouldn't be too costly because he was able to make it a 2-possession game.
Here's Galloway, guarded by Wright. Smith against Lowry. Smith outside, and the whistle blows. It's going to be on Ish Smith. That is his first foul of the game.
And really, he played mistake-free basketball up to that point. That's the only time he's turned it over so far.
Reggie Bullock, he's checked in for the Pistons. DeMar DeRozan, he's checked in for the Raptors. Smith against Lowry. Dishes to Valanciunas. Over Drummond. And it's off the back rim, no good. Pistons trailed by 4. Inside, Bullock goes back up. Rebound by the Raptors. Final quarter of play, about a minute and a half off the clock into it. Lowry passes to DeRozan. Ibaka with the ball. Working on Tolliver. The shot by Lowry, no good.
Not his best game, but they're still getting it done collectively.
Pass to Drummond. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. It's on Jonas Valanciunas.
And Drummond's just his ridiculous frame poses a lot of problems for defenders. You can't fault them for resorting to hacking him right there.
Two shots.
No good on that one.
And as many times as we've seen him at the free throw line tonight, I think by now we know what's going to happen.
Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Pistons. And that trip coming up empty, missing both. Raptors leading by 4. Outside Lowry. And it's in there.
And his touch inside more than makes up for Lowry's lack of size. He's a terrific finisher in the paint and doesn't miss many once he gets in tight.
There's a good screen. Griffin kicks to Bullock. Back to Griffin. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Two shots.
That free throw, no good. He's off on the second. Toronto leading by 6. Lowry dishes to Valanciunas. Screen by Ibaka. Up top, Valanciunas, defended by Drummond. Here's DeRozan, and misses it off the right side of the rim. For Detroit, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the 4th quarter. Smith kicks to Bullock. Pass to Griffin. Griffin sets the screen for Smith. Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt there. Right wing. Screen by Ibaka. Valanciunas passes to Anunoby. Off the mark there with the 3-point shot. Pistons trail by 6. Ennis in the corner. They get it again. Here's Drummond. No good, and they can't put an end to this drought. Anunoby passes to DeRozan. Screened by Valanciunas. That's in, coming off an assist from Lowry. Lowry's got his 3rd assist on the night.
And he's pretty relentless inside. Valanciunas gets after it down low. It might not always look pretty, but he makes the most of his chances in the paint. The defenders need to recognize the importance of staying on him as we get into crunch time.
And DeRozan throws it down.
Oh, phenomenal alley-oop slam there.
They are taking advantage of a team that looks lost out there. Kicks it to Ennis. Top of the key, Griffin. The Pistons working the ball around now. Here's Anunoby. Back to DeRozan. He feeds it to Valanciunas. 5 to shoot. Screened by Valanciunas. Goes back up. Good D by Drummond. Pistons trail by 7. Ennis dishes to Smith. Drummond with a screen on Lowry. Drummond in the post. Ibaka on him. Smith outside. Bullock kicks to Ennis. Now the pass to Bullock. Drummond a screen. Tries again. They shoot again, and that's 2 points on the layup.
And the play is all about Drummond and his solid fundamentals, just taking his time and getting a high-quality chance as a result.
Ibaka outside. Screened by Valanciunas. Here's Anunoby. On the wing, DeRozan. Here's Valanciunas. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. And so he's picked up his final foul, and he will sit for the rest of this game. Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Andre Drummond. And the first one drops. Valanciunas hits them both.
His free throw ability makes him tough to defend in the post. Teams can't get too physical with him.
Smith, the pass to Ennis. Back to Smith. Picked by Griffin. Smith dishes to Tolliver. Here's Bullock, defended by Ibaka. Griffin, another 3 for Detroit.
Wow, something's brewing, guys. The three-pointers just continue to flow.
Lowry kicks to DeRozan. And the foul on Jonas Valanciunas. That's his 5th foul.
Tough call there, but you have to be smart there. I mean, he now has 5 in this game.
Pistons trailed by 4. Smith kicks to Ennis. There's the dish to Tolliver. Outside Griffin. Griffin draws the double. It's stolen by Ibaka, and they're on the break. Anunoby passes to Lowry. He kicks it to DeRozan. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry. 25 points for DeMar DeRozan.
And I love the momentum he's building. Last game, he was just as dominant.
And defensively, you know he's feeling good right now. And as the opposing team, you better adjust your scheme accordingly.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Shooting 2.
And he can't get the first one.
And he may not be converting every chance he gets at the line, but at least he's creating those opportunities. Love the aggressiveness.
And the second free throw, good.
Well, he's been aggressive in getting himself some free throws as a result.
Lowry kicks to Valanciunas. With a step back. Another shot. He takes it up and lays it in. Valanciunas has got 6 here in this quarter.
They've leaned on him tonight, and he's delivered with some great shooting.
Smith against Lowry. Smith kicks to Griffin. Griffin draws the double. Shot clock at 5. And the Pistons with possession here. Raptors leading by 7. Outside Lowry. They set the screen. Three-pointer. It's hauled in by Tolliver. Tolliver's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Here's Bullock. The offensive rebound. Hits. Count that one from Ennis.
And all those second chance points have given them a boost here in the second half, and that's a great way to cut into the lead.
Ibaka, no luck.
And on an open look like that, he's very gifted at making the weak coverage pay.
Griffin dishes to Bullock. Here is Tolliver. Pistons passing it around. Feeds to Ennis. Just 5 to shoot. And Valanciunas pulls it down. And for the Raptors, they're shooting a paltry 33% in the fourth. Not a good showing for this offense. Ibaka, no luck. Pistons trailed by 5. And out of bounds as Toronto gains possession. Toronto with the ball. Now here is Lowry. Screen by Ibaka. Steps back and shoots. It's hauled in by Tolliver. Tolliver's got 6 rebounds in the game. Here's Bullock. DeRozan defending. And it's in there. And that's now 24 points for Blake Griffin.
A good score inside, and the defense really offering very little resistance.
That's just an attack mindset. I love it. Game on the line. He's out competing guys.
To the inside, Tolliver, and he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
He hits the first one, and that brings them within 2 here. That one falls, so he hits both of them. 1:52 left in the fourth quarter. Lowry passes to Anunoby. He dishes it to DeRozan. Ibaka in the post. Working on Tolliver. Screened by Ibaka. Just 5 on the clock. An easy layup after coming off the pick.
Oh, he took a terrific angle right there off the screen, something they work on every day in practice.
It's stolen by DeRozan. To the right side. Outside Lowry. The feed to DeRozan. Out to Ibaka. Out to the wing. Ibaka sets the pick for Lowry. Gets the 3-pointer to fall. Now it's a 6-point Toronto lead.
Against length, he does a nice job of creating just enough separation.
Yeah, but he has a big height advantage, but that's somewhat mitigated out there on that perimeter, and you got to come check him.
Bullock, it's in! And now they trail by just 4.
What a find by Griffin. He's a lot more skilled as a passer than he gets credit for as far as power forwards go. He has terrific vision.
Lowry against Smith. Over Lowry. Smith, no luck.
The movement and the shot selection are good there, but you can't hit them all.
And so they foul intentionally. And now they decide to foul intentionally. drops the first one, and that puts them up by 5. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
Now that's killer instinct at the line, helping them pull away a little.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. They're trailing by 6. We've got 33 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
It's going to be interesting to see what they draw up to get this quick shot.
Well, do you go with your rhythm? You have to decide, do you run something new, something that's been working, something they haven't seen?
And now we've got a moment for our Jordan Player of the Game, DeMar DeRozan.
And the way he's made his mark with his work inside, he's just been a slasher tonight. Always moving, getting to the basket at will, and just seemingly taking advantage of a D that was reluctant to get in his way.
We've got 33 seconds left in the fourth. And it's Bullock missing.
Well executed, great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Yeah, coming off of a good pick, and you want to get that when he gets the separation he needs. I know he would love to have that one back.
So the first one drops, and that makes it a 7-point lead. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's an 8-point game. Now a timeout called by Detroit. They're behind by 8. 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. A three off the inbound. Wow, drew the contact, and that three almost went in, so he'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
3 shots, gentlemen. Three shots.
And the first of 3, missing that time. That's a tough one to miss, but 2 more chances. He makes the second free throw, and that narrows the gap to 7. And he nails the third. And now we've got the intentional foul. And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. That's good, going 1 of 2 from the line, and that makes it a 7-point lead.
And really nothing they can do now. They just got to play this one out.
Yeah, you know you're supposed to go hard and complete the game, but they're so frustrated right now. I don't see that happen. Nice bucket. There's no question about his skills at the offensive end.
And they foul intentionally. That's what they have to do at this point.
You had to foul, and on that occasion to stop the clock. That's the enemy in this situation.
He doesn't hit the first, and that was the one they really wanted. He's got one more, though. He's able to hit the second one, and that puts them up by 5. 17 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Lets it go from deep. Nails it! And he has brought them to within 2 points.
And this atmosphere is bananas.
Well, guys separate themselves by how they perform in clutch situations. Give this man his props.
He hits the first one, and that makes it a 3-point lead. So he gets them both, and it's a 4-point ball game.
And that's what I call cool under fire. You know, those should be the nails in the coffin.
Launches a 3, and it misses.
Is it me, or does it just feel like he gets every rebound that comes up?
Oh, it's like he's a magnet to the ball. No matter where he goes, it finds him.
And so the big win by Toronto in a tight game. A narrow win under difficult circumstances, Greg, as the visiting team.
It really was, but that didn't seem to bother him. I mean, road team, home team, all I know is they were the better team.
Well said. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Jonas, you have a lot on you in terms of patrolling the paint. How do you think you're doing?
I feel good. You know, there is a better game, there is a worse game, but, you know, I'm bringing energy every game. I'm fighting, and my job is to take rebounds, set a screens. I'm doing that job.
It's grunt work, but you're good at it. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.